book program. What we have here is some equipment from the National Library Service. We have a talking book machine and some of the accessories. And I want to give you a little overview of the National Library Service for the blind and physically handicapped. The National Library Service is a division of the Library of Congress in Washington, D.C. It is a specialized library service that has been around for 84 years. It provides books in audio and braille formats for people with disabilities, people who are visually impaired, people who are blind. If you cannot hold a book, turn a page, or if you have a learning disability, you could be eligible to use this free library service. It is a nationwide library service. Therefore, it is available across the country through a network of libraries for the blind and physically handicapped. You can find your local library for the blind by visiting the National Library Service website, which is loc.gov/NLS. You can also email them at nls@loc.gov, and we'll provide links for those contacts as well. So when you register for this library program, you will fill out a National Library Service application. The library service is distributed through a network of libraries for the blind around the country. Each of them will have some form of this application. The application just requires name, address, and your reading preferences so that the library for the blind knows what types of books you'd like to receive. You can download the application from the National Library Service website or your local library for the blind. Every state has at least one library for the blind, and some states have several locations for their libraries for the blind. So when you go to the National Library Service website, find your local library for the blind and download an application. As a public library librarian, you can certify a talking book application if a person has a physical or visual disability. If a person has a learning disability, the application will need to be certified by a medical doctor or a doctor of osteopathy. So after someone is registered to receive the National Library Service Talking Book Program, then they will receive one of these machines in the mail. This is a digital talking book player, and this is a digital talking book. The way that the program works is through the United States Postal Service. It is a free library service. The books come through the U.S. Postal Service free and are shipped back to the library for the blind the same way. So the first thing you will get is your machine. You will see that the machine has a variety of buttons, and when there is no book in the machine, you will be able to press any of the buttons and it will give you a description of what that button does. So first we can turn the machine on.
Player on. Press any button to learn about its function. Battery charge remaining greater than 29 hours. Play stop. To start or stop.
The machine will charge for 29 hours. You can use it plugged in or unplugged. It comes with a long plug that stores in the back of the machine. So you can listen to it while you're recharging, and again, it will charge up to 29 hours.
Play stop. To start or stop playing a book, use the large play stop button. When the sleep, pressing the sleep button once will play 15 minutes of the book and then stop the machine. Pressing the sleep button, sleep, pressing the sleep button once, sleep, pressing the
So you have a variety of buttons on the machine. When you press any one of them, it will tell you its function and how to use it. Some of them have a variety of functions depending on how many times you press it. This is the standard machine that you will receive as a talking book user. So it has the play button, fast forward, rewind. It has, you can adjust the speed and the tone and the volume of the machine. There's also a sleep button, as we heard, which you can set for 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, or an hour. That way you'll know exactly where you stopped when you were listening to the book and you don't have to go looking around for it. You can also use headsets with this machine, a pillow speaker with this machine, and you can also get from the National Library Service for the Blind, if you are a person who has no use of your arms or legs, you can get a puff and sip switch so that you can navigate the machine, put it on and off by using a device with your mouth, okay? So there are attachments from the National Library Service. You can get headsets to use with the machine. As I said, you can get a pillow speaker and you can get the puff and sip switch. Here is a talking book. This is the way it will come to someone in the mail. On the front will be a mailing card with the patron's name and address. When the individual is finished with the book or doesn't choose to read that book, they flip over the mailing card. The name of the Library for the Blind, which sent the book to the patron, will be on the back of this card. You flip this card over, put it back in this container, and it will go back to the Library for the Blind. Here's what the books look like. This is what we call a digital cartridge. A digital cartridge is really no more than a flash drive. So there's a flash drive built into this larger cartridge because it makes it more maneuverable. If a person has any type of dexterity issues, or if a person is visually impaired, it's easier to use this larger type of cartridge than a thumb drive. So all you would do is take the book and slide it into the machine.
The Yankee Years by Joe Torre and Tom Verducci. DB 68610. Copyright 2009 by Anjali Incorporated and Tom Verducci.
So if you take the book out of the machine and you put in another book to listen to, it will remember the spot where you were in the book. So you can be listening to several books at one time, and each time you slide back in the book you were listening to before, it will remember where you were in that book and start reading from that point. You can also fast forward through the book.
The Yankee Years.
Current position.
The Yankee Years by Joe Torre.
Forward 5 seconds. Forward 5 seconds. Forward. Forward 20 seconds. Forward 1 minute. Forward 5 seconds.
So it will forward, if you hold it down, it'll forward longer periods of time. But if you just tap the forward or the rewind, it will go 5 seconds at a time. So you can easily find where you were, where you want to be, or if you want to get to a new section. All right, so that's the machine. You saw the application. You will see this type of application or some variation on this theme. There are also institutional applications. So if you want to get people signed up who are living in a nursing home, if you want to get school children signed up in an elementary school or high school or junior high in your area, then they can also get the talking book sent directly to their facility so they can fill out an institutional application for their services. There are instructions that will come with the machine, even though it's very easy to use and you can press any of the buttons to learn about what they do. There are large print instructions that come with the machine as well, and Braille instructions also. All right. You will also see that there are a number of brochures that are available through the National Library Service. You can contact your local library for the blind, and they can provide you with batches of any of the brochures and applications so you can keep them in the library. And then you can explain this program to your patrons who you think could benefit from it. The other thing that you should do is ask to have a digital player in the library as a demo machine. So you can have a digital player, you can have some books, and you can demo this to your patrons so they understand what the program is. You can also have a rotating collection of talking books in your library. So maybe you want to get 30 or 50 books to keep on the shelf in your library, and then they can rotate out every 3 or 6 months, and you can get a new set of books in for your patrons. This could encourage your patrons who would normally come to the library if they receive their talking books at home to come to the library. Maybe they want to come with their grandchildren or are coming for a program, and now they feel there's something for them at the library when before they were just getting their books at home. So that could be a way to encourage your patrons to visit your library more often and learn about the different things you have to offer. The other thing you will get when you register with Talking Books is talking book topics and books that tell you what books have been most recently recorded through the Talking Book program. The National Library Service records anywhere between 1,800 and 2,000 books a year into an audio or braille format. That's far less than the number of print books that are available to people, but it's still a huge number of books that are out there for people who need to listen to their books or use them in braille. The other really important part of the National Library Service program is their downloadable books. It is called the BARD website, BARD, the Braille and Audio Reading Download. And what this site contains are additional books that are not put into this cartridge format. So in this cartridge format, there are probably around 12,000 titles, all ages of reading, all genres of reading, and that's always growing. But on the BARD website, which people can access once they are a talking book reader, there are about 80,000 titles. So people can go to the BARD website, they can download books through their computer onto a flash drive, and then plug that flash drive into the side of the talking book machine. So there's a spot on the talking book machine for the thumb drive with the downloaded books from the BARD website. These books cannot be played on your computer because there is a proprietary software built into the player and the books, so they have to be on the formats approved by the National Library Service. There are commercial players that are out there to play the talking books. They are smaller, more portable, more along the size of an iPod or a smartphone. But you can get this machine for free. All of the commercial ones do cost anywhere from $300 to $700. You can also download a free app from the App Store onto your iOS device or your Android device, which will allow you to listen to the National Library Service talking books. So it will allow you to download books from the BARD website, which again has approximately 80,000 titles of books. So if you already have a smartphone, whether it be Android or iOS, then you can just download the app from the App Store, and you can just download the BARD app, and then you can download your books directly onto your device. And it will actually give you an image of the buttons that are on this machine. So it will appear the same, and you will be able to navigate it on your device the same way that you could on this machine. So if you're already using one of those devices, then you have that added ability to download the talking books onto those devices. The other thing I do want to mention is that you can also get promotional materials for your libraries along with the brochures. The National Library Service has a variety of tabletop posters and wall posters that you can ask for through your local library for the blind. And you can put these out in the library so that people know about this service. The best thing to do is to really let your colleagues know and let your community members know so that you can, so that they can benefit from this type of free specialized library service. There's a lot of information out there. If you just go to the National Library website, again, their website address is loc.gov/NLS. If you want to email them for information, find out your local library for the blind and physically handicapped, you can email them at nls@loc.gov. If you have questions about the things that we talked about today, you can contact me. My name is Valerie Lewis. I am at the Suffolk Cooperative Library System in Bellport, New York, and you can email me at valerie@suffolknet.org. I appreciate your time, and I hope you will tell all of your colleagues about the Talking Book program.